Apple killing BlackBerry, BlackBerry killing Nokia, Netflix killing blockbusters of the world. Agents are going to form the backbone of enterprises.
But I think with this Agentic AI coming in, and it sounds like that you are almost vertical SaaS business of yourself, how do you bring in the functional expertise which is required for venturing into these new areas?
Understanding what is being taught is much more important than the outcome or the grade you get.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Aman Goel, and I am in conversation with Anurag Malik, the CTO for ContractPodAi. Anurag had a famed career. He's graduated from IIT, and then he went on to build a fantastic career and is an inspiration for a lot of people to learn and see from. Presently, he works as a CTO and president at ContractPodAi. You have worked with Tesla and the large companies, and has always been at the forefront of innovation. My name is Aman. I work with PwC. I am a managing director at PwC here. I'm part of our alliances and ecosystem teams here. So, Anurag, my first question to you essentially is, we keep hearing a lot about agentic AI, and specifically within agentic AI, we hear that it's out there to kill the SaaS business. It's a very radical statement. However, this statement has been made by industry leaders like Satya Nadella. What's your take on that?
First of all, thanks for having me, Aman. Thanks for taking the time. We live in very interesting times. Technology is evolving all around us very rapidly. There is a lot of weight to that statement. And the reason being, the way agentic technology is taking over, the way it's entering into enterprises, agents are going to form the backbone of enterprises. What that essentially means is, if I am a CIO of a company or Chief Information Officer, I'm going to look for those one or two companies which have the ability to address all my vertical functions rather than the several SaaS products I have today. So yes, agents do have the potential to do that. Have they already done that? No. But the next couple of years are going to be very interesting. And if you're a vertical SaaS company, you should be taking a second look at how you're doing business.
So ContractPodAi is a vertical SaaS company. You have pivoted multiple times. It's a bold and innovative thing at the same time, in a sense that when you pivot or when you sort of change directions, it is a bold, audacious decision. But I think with this agentic AI coming in, and it sounds like that you are almost prophesizing against the vertical SaaS business of yourself. What is the importance of pivots? How do you see this playing out at your own organization?
Yeah, no, great question. Actually, companies that evolve and change with time are the ones that survive, right? You've seen things change a lot during, even the last 20 years or so. Apple killing BlackBerry, BlackBerry killing Nokia, Netflix killing blockbusters of the world. So you have to either evolve with the technology or you become history, right, as a company. We are very fearless when it comes to taking very bold pivots. And every time we take that pivot, these are the examples that go through my head, is I don't want to look back and not have changed direction when the tech out there is asking me to change direction. And changing direction does not mean that your offerings are changing. They're evolving with the customer's needs and with the way technology is helping serve those needs, right? So we are a legal technology company, have always been that. But if the customer wants whatever player they pick to do more than what they're offering in the market today, any SaaS company, right, for that matter, you have to evolve as a technology company to make sure you're able to offer that to your customer. For example, if I have the tech to help solve your legal problems, if I can build agents that can help the office of the CLO, I have the technology to go address the office of the CFO or the CHRO. And if a customer is investing in us, why would they want to look elsewhere and invest again? Right? It has become an implicit expectation of the customer that if you have agentic technology, then why can't you serve other functions? And the market is always customer driven, right? Technology enables us to do more, But remember, they are also aware of where the technology is, so they expect that, right? And that is why we are taking another pivot where we now have the ability to offer much more.
You make a very solid point that in a very fragmented, broken technical environment, it is less of a pride but more of a tech debt that companies face, that I have fragmented systems, I have different solutions, and then we talk about trying to combine them together and trying to orchestrate them together. If there is a company which can do wall to wall, let's say office of finance, office of legal, office of HR, then it's a delight for the customers. However, the challenge in that part is and I think it has been partially solved by AI as well, because these LLM models are quite intelligent themselves.
Yeah.
So I think the challenge also still remains is that how do you bring in the functional expertise which is required for venturing into these new areas? Because it is a very ambitious and you can say radical take, because when you start pivoting from another and then you are almost entering into a new domain itself, it's a big opportunity space. You open up a whole thing for yourself.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think it is a challenge also for the organization to be successful. You'll have to be deep in it.
Correct. First of all, other than what a company brings to the table, which is products, another very important aspect is the ecosystem they have, right? We have a very solid partner ecosystem. That is how we know each other, right? The domain expertise which we will miss because it's not part of our core, because our core has been legal, will come from our partners. Right? We are very good at building technology. We are also very good in the legal domain. But when it comes to other domains, of course, we can hire and build some of that. But the best and easiest way to do it is bring in partners like yourselves who will have that and who understand our technology. And together we can go to market and really make a huge impact.
Good. So now tell me a little bit about what do you think about how's the market of AI actually is playing out, in a sense that we see a lot of companies which are talking big on Agentic AI. There are studies out in the market which say that the POCs are not getting converted into the real use cases. There's a speed of innovation which is happening at the OEM level, as in the LLM companies as well. Where do you see this market heading to in realistic terms, as seen from an innovator, as seen from a capitalist perspective who's actually putting money behind a particular organization? What do you see happening in next 2-3 years?
Yeah. Any technology, when it comes in, there are, teething issues. The way people have looked at AI so far, and it's going to change. Like I said, it happens in any technology. They focus on vertical problems, which are isolated. That is not the right way to look at something which has the power to actually transform your entire enterprise. If you just focus on your vertical problems, and sometimes people pick the hardest one, right? You are going to be so lost in doing that, and you are actually limiting the capacity of the product by just focusing on one problem. Yes, a lot of POCs have failed because they've been, again, like I said, focused on narrow problems or vertical problems. The real power is in looking at your entire ecosystem and applying AI to that. And you may see, benefits in some of them which are not great, but overall, you're going to see a huge impact. It is not only going to be transformational in terms of, getting you much more efficient, but also open up new avenues of growth for enterprises. And there is no stopping this train, right? Of course, the first time the cars came out, they were trouble and cars were breaking down when the first cars were driving around, right? But that doesn't mean we don't have cars today.
Yeah,
we do.
Yes.
And any new technology, there will be teething issues. So that's not going to deter us. Technology changes, and once it's here to stay and get better.
Let me pivot to something different. And you have had a very successful career. You have been a technologist. You have seen up and close how the investors look at an enterprise, how do they want you to create a value. Now, if I was a young person passing out from college, I would be really uncertain. Either I would not be knowing the world, and if I knew the world, I would be very, very uncertain of how it is going to play out. Now, if you were to talk to your younger person, younger self, maybe 20 years ago, and maybe you were passing out of the college, what would be your advice to yourself?
My advice would be stick to the basics, the core, right? Make sure that you understand whatever subject it is, right? Whether it's engineering, whether it's arts, whether it's commerce, or whether it's medicine, right? Make sure you are very good at the core, right? Your fundamentals are good. Like any other technology, LLMs and Agentic AI is going to help us as a tool, is going to further enhance us. And when we have a fundamentals solid, right, whatever that domain is, we can then use these tools much more effectively. This thing hasn't changed. I'm going through my undergrad and then my postgrad. Understanding what is being taught is much more important than the outcome or the grade you get.
Yeah.
So if you know your fundamentals well, does not matter how the world changes, you will do well. So that would be my advice. And
I agree completely to that. I think personally what I've seen is that there are two kinds of people who are intellectually more stimulated or who are applying their brain. There is a trained mind and there is a born intelligent mind. So if you are a trained mind, there are advantages of that. You know the rhythm, you know the structure, you know how do you stick with that. And there are people who are born with a Pentium P7 mind already. Now, for a Pentium P7, the life is actually harder than the trained person, because you have neurons firing in all directions, and then and you have too many options. You have whatever thing you will touch, you will actually turn into gold.
Yeah.
Now for a person like him, if he's actually exiting out of a college now, as you said it right, if he sticks to the basics, whatever field he might be in, whether it is medicine, whether it is hospitality, whether it is engineering, he will definitely make good on that if he just sticks to the path, if he tries to go deep into this. Because the other thing that is happening now with this advancement in technology is that he's got these tools to go really deep and do the research.
Correct.
The vaccine for COVID took so much time, much beyond our expectations to get out now. Now, had LLM and this AI solutions been available at that time, probably it would have saved us some time. And in future, as we are hearing that there is a personalized medicine for everybody on the cards, things like that, the things that we have never tried to understand, what is under oceans, how do you get to the moon and the Mars and all of that stuff, what other elements are there which can supercharge the humanity. Those are things are still unsolved as a problem. So I tend to think that for a bright person, it's actually much more ripe as a situation.
I completely agree. The brighter you are, the more inquisitive you are, right? And sometimes when you're super bright and you don't have the tools to completely use your potential, you get frustrated.
Yeah.
But we are living in an age where, just like you said, right, there is so many tools at our disposal that we can only learn and learn and learn.
Yeah.
And the other thing I would like to add is, you have to constantly keep upgrading your skills and learning as you go throughout your career. Get your fundamentals right, but always be open to learning as you go along.
So, and just because you mentioned learning, while the world still thinks that, okay, I am born into an AI age and I am sort of being able to develop a lot, what is the importance of mentorship, coaching, learning from the people who have been into this business? What do you think? Because you have grown through the ranks. What, according to you, is the importance of that? Because I tend to think that quick success, ability to create things faster, might come at a risk that people feel, the young ones particularly feel, that I am happy without a mentor. I can do it all on my own. So talk to us about that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Nothing replaces experience. I've personally learned a lot from my mentors. The most important thing which I have learned, and I think I don't know if everybody has the same understanding, or that's the benefit they think they get the most out of the mentor is work ethic. Right? That is the most important thing. And maybe it's important to me, work ethic, so I tend to gravitate towards mentors who have a similar work ethic. But worshipping your work and giving it the most, making it the most important thing, right? One of the most important things is very important. Learning from their mistakes. I think failures teach us a lot. And if you just stick to your failures, you, of course, will only go through your journey. But understanding from the failures of others who you can look up to and their successes too is gold, right? So mentorship, 100% is very important. Even if you're the most successful entrepreneur out there, I mean, Mark Zuckerberg, right? Very successful, but he learned from others, and juries out there.
We can take examples of Bill Gates. I think he also had mentors like Warren Buffett, etc. And I cannot vouch for this statement that you made, that you still have to learn a lot. You experience matters a lot. Integrity is not a thing that you learn just by reading book. It is what you live and what you experience.
Exactly, and you see others do it, right, and you follow them.
So, and I think some of these things are going to be immensely important, because what I also feel is that the world is moving to a stage where intellect on one end of spectrum is going to be very, very important. At the other end of the spectrum is going to be human skills, is going to be interpersonal skills, integrity, and everything else.
Completely agree.
So if you're not having a proper sense of ethics, integrity, and how to go about your business, how to keep relationship, how to play in for a long game, then you could have a early win in the game, but eventually what will end up happening is there is going to be a smarter version of you who is out there, and you're going to get eaten up by that.
100%. I think EQ or emotion quotient is going to be much more important. It's been important for a long time, but I think more so now, because we have tools that can pretty much get us all the same amount of information and same amount of smartness. But it is how you use it, how you apply it, and how you bring others into it that will make a huge difference.
Now, let's talk about the world at large, wherein we see a lot of companies now, the cloud, the infrastructure, even say the codes, everything about making up a tech company is rapidly becoming commoditized. Now, what is the differentiator going to be 2 years down the line for a company to exist and survive and thrive? If everything becomes just replicable, we talk about being able to build applications in day flat. Obviously, maybe you extrapolated a good enough application in a month's time. What would actually remain to be the moat for the large companies or other companies?
See, the difference between a company that is starting off and a company which has been there for a while is, of course, the experience of bringing a product to the market. That's experience is a big differentiator. Domain expertise is a big differentiator. And I touched upon it before, is, the power of ecosystem. If you have a strong network and ecosystem, you can solve any problem. Technology has, we live in a very interesting time. Internet, iPhone, electric vehicles. Technology has always challenged us and made life better for us, all of us, right? But companies that have been successful have been the ones who know how to apply their experience, their domain expertise, and how to bring the network of their ecosystem together to produce the best products. I think that is what will continue to be the differentiator.
You're right. I think those are not the skills that you code. These are not the things these are softer aspects of life.
And there's humanity to it. Right? Yes. This is not something AI will solve for you.
I think those are things that are going to remain, and companies which survive, they will have those traits for sure, that they will not just survive a cycle of bad economic cycle on the basis of just the capital or just the product. They will have to hold almost the hands with the companies who are their peers. They would have a domain expertise which will they lean back on, the years of experience. I think that's going to be That's going to be the true differentiator for the companies in the future. So one of the curious thing that I feel is that ContractPodAi as an organization has grown to be very reputable one. You regularly get featured in the Gartner quadrants, etc. And you're a force to reckon with. But when you were bringing up the company, the market has been very, very competitive. There are many players in this space. Largest organizations, small organizations, very good funded companies. How did you survive? What was the mindset in that hyper competitive market? And what are the muscles that you build in that journey that you think are going to be your strengths in the future to come?
Yeah, so you're right, Aman. Legal technology, specifically CLM, has been a very crowded space. And the way you make your mark is you continuously innovate, right? You should not be scared of pivoting and changing and evolving, because you learn so much. Even if you fail, right? You should not be scared to fail, right? Make bold changes. If you fail, you learn, adopt, right? Iteratively, you can go along and continue to evolve. We made a few really bold pivots, right? We are called ContractPodAi and not ContractPod.ai. So we were doing AI when AI was not cool.
Yeah.
In times of IBM Watson, right? We did so many AI projects we've done throughout the lifespan of the company that we know exactly what works, what does not work, right? So we made a very clear distinction in terms of being a visionary and leading with AI, which has helped us kind of sort through the crowded marketplace. We made another pivot when large language models came out. We launched a whole new platform called Leah, which none of the other companies in the space did, right? You'll see a lot of partnerships happening in the space without naming names. We didn't need to, because we had it in-house, right? We are making another bold pivot, which is we feel that if we have the technology to make an impact in the legal domain, to the office of the CLO, we can replicate that and take it to the office of the CFO, to the office of the CHRO, and so on. And why we feel very confident, besides technology, is because we have a very strong partner ecosystem, which can bring us the domain expertise, and together we can make a huge impact. So, long story short, you have to be on the edge. You have to learn from your competitors. You have to learn from, reflect inside, and keep innovating. There is no sitting idle when you're running a company, whether it's legal tech or any other domain too.
And you spoke about this pivot almost in the same breath. I want to delve a little deeper onto that. So when you're saying that you are pivoting to office of CFO and all of these other offices, is it going to be a big announcement that we are going to see, that you're venturing into these spaces as well? Are we going to see some new solution sets that you're going to put out? Talk to us a little bit about it.
Absolutely. We're actually doing an event in 2 weeks, Unleashed, where we are bringing in our customers, our prospects, our partners, and we're going to, as the name suggests, unleash many new features in the product, which will show you exactly how we can really spread our wings horizontally and start addressing use cases outside of legal. Of course, legal is near and dear to our heart. We'll continue to double down on that, but we'll go and explore and see how much further we can get.
And the name ContractPodAi will continue?
That's a loaded question. Let's see. Yes, the name is very tightly coupled with contracts. But like I've said before, right, we are not scared of making bold changes. So the future will tell.
So contract is also with your customers a contract of trust.
Absolutely.
And that plays out, right? You have been a trusted partners to the clients.
100%.
And that trust will continue. It's a contract of trust, and then that trust equation you are extending by by moving into new areas there where they would have wanted you to be in.
Yeah, and any enterprise is the sum total of its contracts. Right?
Yes.
So contracts is a very important piece.
Yeah. So if you retain, you have a theory. If you do not retain, you have a theory.
Of course, and that's why I couldn't give you a straight answer.
But that's good. That's good. It's quite good to know that in this time and rapid innovation, companies which have a certain DNA, AI is enabling those companies also to be able to think laterally, also to be able to go deeper into some of the other areas as well. I heard about a deal that you guys and a big announcement that you made in UK about potential alliance with Microsoft. Do you want to speak about that a little bit?
Sure. We've inherently been using a lot of Microsoft resources, and we've been on every whether it's Microsoft, Azure, Google, or everybody's target, because we have a lot of customers, so we use a lot of their infrastructure. So they all love us, right? And Microsoft has been a great partner. And our recent announcement, which happened in London, as you said, where Sarvat, our CEO, was on stage with Microsoft Europe CEO, is a very tight collaboration, not just in go-to-market, but also we have a very tight collaboration in technology, where as innovation happens at Microsoft, it's made available to us. And vice versa, right? As we innovate, we share with them too. We are also listed on the marketplace, which helps both sides, our sales and their sales as well. But Microsoft has been one of the few partners who understands the importance of innovation. Microsoft is been leading in AI as well with their investments in OpenAI. So very proud of that. Those announcements. Very proud of the partnership which we are in with them.
And let me just ask you a personal question. You are clearly at the top of this organization in terms of being amongst the top few people at the organization. What is the view from the top like? How do you manage a large organization which has a lot of people who would have started early with you? They would want, or they have a view of how the organization is moving, and then the changes and the things that you're doing, they would also be new to them. Sometimes they would be happy with them. Sometimes they would be settled in their ways of working, and then you're challenging yourself, and at the same time you're challenging everybody along with them. Then the other thing that I'm curious about is for how, and you are a person who didn't start at the organization when it was born. You came in later, and then you have this fantastic camaraderie with Sarvat. So how does that equation plays out? How's the mind of a CTO combines with the mind of an entrepreneur, and how does this play out in the wider arena with a lot of different people?
Yeah, a lot of questions in that one question. But I'll start with the first one. People who join a startup usually join with the mindset of, hey, we are going to make a difference. And we're blessed to have a majority of our team is folks who really believe in making a difference to the world, right? We're a technology company, so they're very up to date with what's happening in the world around them. So when changes happen, first of all, it's very collaborative. It may seem that it's only happening at the top. It's very well communicated to the rest of the team, and their feedback is very important to us, right? We are, as big as we may sound, we are not very hierarchical. There are not too many levels, right? Everybody has every voice is important because they are people we've hired and we've built or we've grown together with them.
Yeah.
Right. So the company moves together and not in silos. The leadership is going in one direction, the rest of it is going in another direction. Coming to the second question of that I wasn't there on day one, doesn't feel like that at all, honestly. And the reason being, Sarvat and I complement each other very well. And leaders who complement each other generally work well together. I've been an entrepreneur myself, so I know what it takes.
Yeah,
I understand it. And I tell it to every employee, if you work like an owner,
Yeah.
then you will feel that you are the CEO in your mind to
Yes.
some extent, right?
Yes.
And you will be making that impact.
Correct.
I've always worked like an owner here. I encourage everybody who's directly reporting into me to do that, and so on and so on, right? So I think it's important to feel that ownership.
Yes.
It does not matter if you've been here 6 years or 1 year or 2 days.
Yeah.
If you come with that mindset, you're going to make the company successful and yourself too.
And the decisioning and the freedom and the ability to make choices. I do tend to think that in the culture that you curate for your employees, those are things that are essential, that you'll give people a certain set of freedom to operate in a certain manner, obviously within the bounds and the economics and then the structures that companies put in. But there should be a certain level of elbow playing room for the people to think and feel energized and happy about.
Of course, there is. You know, we want to, like I said, every voice is important. And once employees start behaving like owners, their thought process and decisions they're making, you'd be surprised how different they are from somebody who's just doing a 9 to 5 versus somebody who is thinking of their role as an owner.
Yeah. In terms of your selection criteria, in terms, so it's the reason I'm asking this essentially is that we hear a lot about some of these brightest engineers being given tons and tons of money these days, and there are few who are going to be like that. Let's come to the real world. If there is a person that you are spotting for, let's say, entry level position, mid level position, what are the kind of things that you are looking into a person who you think is going to be the right DNA for the future, which is highly uncertain, highly demanding? A person has to be on his feet, ready for innovation sector.
Yeah, and I look for fit first.
Okay.
Right, because even if you're an individual contributor, you're going to end up working with other folks. So the fit is the most important thing, followed by, you know, how good you are in the role which you are applying for, followed by can you survive in the chaos that comes with a startup, because it'll be unfair if anybody who's running a startup tells you that there's no chaos in the company. There is. And startups come, the changes come, a little bit of chaos. So you should be able to thrive in that environment.
Yes.
So that's very important. So in the hierarchy of things, you know, fit, can you survive the lifestyle and the chaos of a startup? Then how good you are and whatever role you're applying, whether you're an engineer, whether you're a customer success manager, whether you're a salesperson.
And define fit?
Fit is someone who can collaborate and work well in a fairly flat organization, right? Because if you're used to a lot of structure and you're going to and you overdo process, then you'll be a little too late in getting stuff done, right? If you're somebody who can reach across the aisle, doesn't matter who you're reaching out to, and get stuff done, you'll do very well with us.
Yeah. So it's more about humility. It's more about rolling up your sleeves.
Absolutely.
And being there to work when the situation demands it.
Absolutely. And there is no work that is not worthy of you. Everybody needs to be able to do whatever it needs to get the job done.
Yeah, it goes back to your earlier point about being collaborative, being able to work well with others, whether it's within the boundaries of the companies or whether outside the companies. So it is about being available. And I have seen that the customer centricity and being able to adapt to what clients are asking for. I think it's a thing that you guys have
100%, and also consultative approach to our customers, right? There are many times customers want something without realizing that there might be something different which is better for them. So, of course, focusing on your customer success, even when you have to guide them or make them pivot a little bit to let them have a better outcome is how we operate. And if you do not have a customer successful, we can build the smartest products. Doesn't make a difference.
Now, let's talk a little bit about the market landscape and while the economics in Europe, the economics in US, India, and maybe Asia Pacific are going to be different. So with this big pivot that you are thinking about, would you also have global plans to be able to tap into unaddressed markets. Obviously, there will be different realities of different markets.
Of course.
There's going to be some learning involved in all of those. But just curious to understand, at your level, are you wanting to be a geography-specific company, or you're pretty open to be able to play wherever the
No. In fact, we are very open to have GTM efforts all across the globe. We've historically focused more on US and Europe, and that's because limited resources, you focus on one certain thing. With unlimited resources, we would want to go around the globe. In fact, as of 12 months ago, our presence in addition to US and Europe has been growing in Asia Pac, Middle East, India specifically. So we are going to different aspects of the globe, but we would love to go more. It's a choice between focus and how much bandwidth you have.
Valuations is a topic that I also want to touch upon. Do you think so two things that we are seeing in the market, that there's a lot of companies which are coming up. Not all of them are going to be successful, because again, there's for a single use case, single thing, there are a lot of companies that are there. The other trend we are seeing is that companies are building stuff which gets obsolete as soon as there's a model upgrade, and the things that you try to build, assuming that the model does not have it right now, it gets done, and then the company's business model kind of gets obsolete. There's also ability to win the market, and that I think will drive consolidation in the market over a period of time. People will fold up, and then there will be companies who will be ready to pick up the technologies as well. But at the same time, I think there's a certain level at which the valuations are operating today. Do you think that this valuation game is going to be bigger if the customer uptake is higher, or it is going to be much more nuanced, returning to the levels that we see in the SaaS business today? Or what is your, and again, I know it's crystal ball gazing.
Yeah. So generally valuations, right? I mean, whenever there's new technology, valuations go through a little bit of hype and then settles down. As far as, which company should be, how you should value a company is, I think companies that are born just out of an innovation, some of them may be very successful, but most of them struggle in the long run because they haven't gone through the brunt of domain expertise or how to service customers, etc. So there's a lot of value to that. Why I think we are different is because we're not born out of AI, right? We have done AI well, but we're born out of the domain expertise.
Correct. Yes.
Right? And that's what you need to, be successful in the long run. Technology will always change, right? It'll bring new innovation, and that's great. And every company should adopt it. But we're not finding solutions just within AI, right? We are marrying technology, AI, and domain expertise, combined with, of course, an ecosystem which together services our customers, right? Which is very important. I think any aspect missing out of this can create problems.
So, and that plays out in the terms of valuation not being there.
I think that's what should play out, right? I'm not a VC, so if I would to look at a company, that's how I would look at it.
Yeah. Good. I think this helps me get a lot of perspective on what you are. Have kind of understood, try to understand a little bit of what goes in the head of a senior executive like you at a company which is at the cutting edge of innovation, which is seeing the market trends, dealing, weighing them, and then pushing the way through it. Thanks a lot for all the time that you shared with us today. It was been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
And we'll watch how the pivot unfolds, how it unleashes the growth arena for you.
Thank you for being a great partner.
Thank you.